Welcome back, everybody, to episode 5 of Lessons from a Hurricane. I am Bear of bearindependent.com. This series of videos is based upon lessons that we learned deploying our ministry, 501c3 Grindstone Ministries, to the Hurricane Michael affected areas of Florida, namely Panama City, Florida. We're not just talking out of our derrieres here. We had 32 people the first time, 64 people the second time, and we are right now deployed to Oklahoma. We've got at least 24 people coming for that. So, episode 5, shelter. As a prepper, are you going to bug in or are you going to bug out? If you're going to bug out, is that your first line of defense? If bugging out is your first line of defense, you live in the wrong place. Fact. Your population density equation is probably all jacked up. You have people around you who are liabilities, not assets. And you're probably not as squared away as you could be in situ, where you are right now. Bugging out should always be an option, because natural disaster, disease, famine, warfare might come to the area where you live. And if that's the case, you may have to leave. I may have to leave this sanctuary where I live right now, but it's not going to be because my neighbors are an issue. Which brings us to sheltering in place, or bugging in. You want to have as many of the things as you possibly can squared away on your SHTF retreat, wherever that might be. Your 40 acres and a mule. There's some of my protein talking. And by the way, this noise in the background, these are cicadas, and there's nothing I can do about them, so I apologize if they're annoying. Bugging in, sheltering in place, highly recommended. Prep for the most likely scenarios first. So if where you live, forest fires are an issue, you should be ready for that. Or earthquakes, be ready for that. Or flooding, be ready for that. Have a plan for that. You should have a first aid kit and ham radios in your house anyway, as part of your SOP. A fire extinguisher in your house anyway, as part of your SOP. Prep for the most likely things first. Now let's talk about a group of people. Where are you going to put 36 people? Whether you're deployed on a mission to save lives, or if you just have that many people showing up at your property. I'm coming to your house, man. Yeah, all right, Todd, thanks. We've talked about this, right? Where are you going to put all of them? A plan is to, if you have a house with multiple bedrooms, to put one family per bedroom, including your own family in your own bedroom. Another plan is to have tents or outbuildings specifically designed in such a way that they could double as a tool shed / tiny home. When you deploy 24 people, 36, 50 people to an area, then the logistics get a little bit more interesting. Where am I going to sleep 50 people? How do we shower? How do we just use the restroom? 2 restrooms, when you have 50 people, is not enough. There's never an opportunity at the right time. Somebody's always doing the pee-pee dance. So it's not just the shelter, if you're going to shelter that many people, it's the logistics. It's your latrines and your showers and so forth and so on. Where are you going to put all these people? That's an honest thing that you should be thinking about, and a conversation that you should be having with your loved ones. Where are you going to stay? Because it's not just, hey, I'm coming to your house. Where at my house? Where? Because the couch in the living room is going to get filled up pretty quick, right? Okay, so people come to your house. What are your capabilities to repair and or maintain your house? Do you have tools? Do you know how to use them? Do you have materials stockpiled? You know, a case or two of acrylic latex caulk, a 5-gallon pail of roofing tar, some 2x4s and some nails and some screws and some basic hand tools and, you know, a drill or so. You can repair most things around the house with those items. Screwdrivers, pliers, you know, good utility knife. Do you have those things? Do you have the materials stockpiled now so that when you need them, you can make use of them? I feel out of sorts if I do not have a bunch of lumber laying around. I've just spent my entire life being able to lay my hands on lumber that quick. You know, and this could also, you can push out from there if you're in a homesteading environment, chainsaws and all the chainsaw things, fuel, bar oil, 2-cycle oil, you know, spare chains, files, round files, flat files, spark plugs, air filters, so forth, so on, right? Tractor, it matters. So the ability to repair and or maintain your shelter, that's important. Tarps, just making tarp shelters, improvised shelter, but also if you have a part of your roof that gets damaged, being able to throw a tarp over it. You know, we saw in Panama City entire tent cities pop up that were composed of nothing but blue FEMA tarps, and people, American citizens, living underneath them because that's all they had. And so, you know, we're going to get to episode 6, the government, here momentarily, but if you think the government's coming to save you, them saving you might look a lot like, here's a case of bottled water and here's a blue tarp. Next. So, yeah, things to think about. Where are you going to shelter? With whom are you going to shelter? And how long are you going to shelter there? These are important questions that you should have answers for. Where, with who, and how long? Again, have those tough conversations with the people in your lives that, hey, I'm coming to your house. Are you? Because if you are, we have some ground rules. Here's some things that you need to have with you when you come. Here's some things that will get you kicked off the island that quick. Here's things that we embrace. Here's things that we will not tolerate. So forth and so on. How long are you going to stay there? And that gets to carrying capacity and also food storage. How long can you stay there? You should have carrying capacity of a minimum of 1 year wherever you're going to shelter in place, because it can take you that long just to spin up your agriculture to replace the calories that you're eating. If we're talking about a real widespread collapse where it's everybody fending for themselves, believe me, we've been here about a year, and if we had to survive on what we've grown so far, I'd be wearing a size medium right now. How is the government going to interact with your shelter? If you're in an urban area, there's a chance that you will experience things like martial law. There's a chance. You're definitely going to see the local power